Shalom, family. Good to see you all here again. All right, we're going to look at some art and other things that were found in the Americas. And, some things you may have seen, and maybe some things you never seen before. But we know when they are digging up artifacts, they're finding us more than anyone else. We know they're not finding themselves because they really haven't been here this long, but they are definitely finding our people because we have been here for thousands and thousands of years. And how do you hide that? You can't. Dark Skin Brother, thank you for the memberships. You gifted 5. Thank you. We Next, aka Dark Skin Brother, thank you for the super sticker. And Elijah, thank you for the 2-month membership. All praises to the Most High. Amen. All right, y'all. Let me share my screen so that we can get started. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. And you're not going to believe some of the stuff that's being found underground in these states. There are like tunnels and almost a underground civilization that many of us have never seen before. Elijah, thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks, Abba, for family. Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you, everybody. All right, here we go.
Now, what the hell going on here, America? Did y'all know they found the melanated mummy up in the Grand Canyon, y'all? Let's deep dive into the canyons. Well, as you know, America, most of the Grand Canyon is cut off. But we all know why they don't want us to go up in there. If you know, you know. But lately in the Grand Canyon, they've been catching a lot of buzz lately. And some even say it's an underground city beneath the Grand Canyon. And archaeologists found mummy sightings with melanated tombstones, just like the ones here, America. Even ancient artifacts like this. And if you know, you know, these are hieroglyphs up out of Egypt. So how is the Grand Canyon connected to Egypt? And when we look deeper into the Grand Canyon, they even got hieroglyphs on the wall like this. And these represent just like Egypt. Now look at these artifacts right here. Don't that look like a melanated brother up there with these statues? That's a melanated brother of color. And I ain't even mentioned the stargates yet. And as you see here, America, this is the same temple, just like in Egypt, of the temple of Isis. Come on now, make it make sense. What's going on here? We need answers, America. Because when we find artifacts like this in the Grand Canyon, it makes you really wonder. Some even say the Grand Canyon River is the real Nile River that lead to Africa, allegedly. Those with eyes can see. Do you see pyramids right here? It's most definitely something going on in them canyons, America. And you wonder why they don't want us up in there. Could America really be Egypt? What was the ancestors trying to tell us? Because this sure looked like somebody big mama right here. That's Big Mama, America. Come on now, that's somebody Big Mama right there. Quick question, America. Have you guys been having dreams about the Grand Canyon lately? Please leave a comment below on what you've been dreaming about. Thanks for watching this video. This video is for entertainment purposes only, but if you know, you know. Stay woke out there. Oh, wait.
Never forget. Thanks for watching. This video is for entertainment only, but if you know, you know.
What's going on, family? This is Zeta Historian back again, bringing you a little bit more truth to the story we call history. What we're going to be going over is the Olmec Caves. So if you don't know, the Olmec heads are colossal stone heads that have been dated to go back farther than 900 BC. And it seems that this civilization of the Olmecs were the oldest civilizations ever spawned in America. But what has been argued is, who exactly are the Olmecs and what race were they? So when really looking at Monument 4, for most they wouldn't understand exactly where the head attire comes from. But when closely analyzing the head attire, you clearly see that this is Moorish headwear that can be seen throughout a number of ancient civilizations. But keep in mind, family, these heads were found in Mexico, which is a portion of North America. But going deeper into it, the question that has to be asked is, were the Olmecs Moors? I mean, seeing how they're wearing Moorish head attire? So when looking into the Peabody's Museum by Harvard University, you see that the word Indian was substituted for Moorish. But if that's not enough, when looking into the wars that went on here, you clearly see that it was black people already here fighting off these invaders.
Hey guys, I'm live at the Virginia Museum of History and Culture. I'm taking a video. I'm showing you guys the Powhatan. All right, the Powhatan, as you guys know, is Pocahontas' father. So if you've ever seen the movie Pocahontas, obviously, this is what her father looked like. So as you can already tell, if her father looked like this, Pocahontas looked more like, like me, people who look like us, people who are called African Americans today. So you can see his skin color is brown. Okay, you can see his hair. All right, so now you can gauge how Pocahontas probably looked. All right, this is the Powhatan, this is Pocahontas' father. So when they show you a depiction of who Native Americans are, you guys need to understand that the Native Americans, obviously a misnomer, the Aboriginal Americans look like this. So this is a chief.
The first Statue of Liberty in USA was an African American called Lady Liberty. This statue was made in 1848. She was from Gold Coast.
Authentic black Mayans painting. Watch how the haters will say Mayans used body paint.
All over me.
Indigenous Americans in the Caribbean West Indies by Agostino Brunius, circa 1795. Notice how you never see depictions of Native Americans, the descendants of Asian migrants who populated the Americas across the Bering Strait through Alaska, down into North America, Central America, and South America. But they could not reach the Caribbean islands, island nations surrounded by water. Native Americans were traveling people, but indigenous Americans were inhabiting people.
Have you ever seen this remarkable Renaissance painting before? It is thought to have been painted by the Italian painter Annibale Carracci, who was one of the most famous painters of the time. Although we don't know the identity of this woman, this painting is highly prized because it accurately and realistically depicts a black woman from the Renaissance period. It is thought that she might well have been a seamstress because she's dressed in a very fine but sensible black gown. The two pins here and the needle stuck to her bodice are thought to have been clues to what her profession was. This woman looks directly at the gazer, and in her hand she holds a clock. It is not accidental that she's holding a clock. Clocks were items of extreme luxury during this period, particularly as they often featured the latest in cutting-edge design and technology. So why is she holding this? What does it mean? Some think that maybe she was a timekeeper of some sort. Others think that it was symbolic of the passing of time. It's important to note that this painting was actually part of a much larger painting, and this is the only fragment that survives. That's why on the far right over there, we have a fragment of another person who once stood in this painting. Returning to her dress, I mentioned already that it was sensible yet fashionable, but also the fact that it was black is another sign of wealth because black dye was incredibly expensive. She also wears pearl earrings, another sign of wealth and luxury. And her red necklace is thought to be beads made from red coral. Historians generally think, therefore, that this is a painting of a woman from the middle classes. She also wears a delicate and fashionable headdress, a further symbol of her status. Some people think that this lady might well have been part of a larger household, perhaps an aristocratic household, in which she held quite a senior position, and that as a mark of respect, she was included in a larger painting with other family members. It really is a fascinating painting, and one that actually raises far more questions than it does answers.
How you doing? So this is level 4, all right? So this section is prints and drawings, all right? As you can see, prints and drawings. Now, in this room right here, you could go up in here and they have a lot of paintings and drawings, right? But what I'm looking for, okay, I keep telling y'all what I'm looking for. I came here day before yesterday to look for this, but a lady who worked here said, hey, you know what? They have this picture that I'm looking for in a private section, and you have to set up a private viewing. My question is, how are you just able to walk into the Native American section, North America and Mexico? Then this right here is supposed to be here, but it's not. All right. She said, no, you have to make a special appointment. So I already told y'all how I got this appointment, right? So I'm on the search, lineage. I'm on the search, looking for the emblem of America. So come on, mate. We gotta find it, okay? All right. Boom. Can I just flip through the pages? Or that's the only picture here, right? Well, just this, yeah. So when was this, what was the information on that in terms of when was it printed or created? I'll find out. Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so I'm in the private room right now, and yes, please, yes. Thank you. So I'm in the private room right now, and I had to sign a little waiver. Okay, so yeah, man, this is real. It's real. It exists. It's in the British Museum in the private section, and you have to have a private appointment to come see this.
So they have the black and white, and then they have the colored. Emblem of America. That's what the original Americans look like. All right, lineage, I'm about to get out the private room. All right, as you can see, like I said, this is real. I'm here, okay? I can't touch anything. Beta told me I can't touch it, but I'm here, I'm real. All right, and like I said, this is the emblem of America in the British Museum in a private section where you have to know what you're looking for to ask. It's not just on display. You have to make an appointment, show ID, and sign a waiver and everything. All right, in the British Museum. So this is what our ancestors look like in terms of complexion and, you know what I'm saying, dark-skinned, copper-colored people. We are the original people of the Americas. This is your brother, Chief Kalinago. Trust me, it was worth it. Like Monday, Tuesday, and our ancestors put all this together at the last minute. All right, more love. Hey, what's good, y'all? So I'm about to get out of here, man. Like I said, I found the emblem of America. It was a little journey, you know, back and forth, but trust me, it was worth it, man. And you have to ask yourself this question: why is it that I could just walk in to this section, like I said before, you know, it's called the Living and Dying, you know, North America and Mexico, and you're able to see all these natives, right? But to see the emblem of America, I literally had to set up an appointment for that, and our ancestors just work it out where they were able to fit me in. Like I was supposed to make an appointment, like I said, 2-3 weeks ago, you feel me? But ask the ancestors to make this possible, man, to show you how it's real. It's actually in the British Museum, and it's not just some random, you know, painting on the internet. You see what I'm saying? So I was glad I was able to find that. You feel me? So hey, I'm about to get out of here. Today's Wednesday, the 9th of August, and I'm about to get back. And you know, hey, man, it's already a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day, and I give thanks to our ancestors, man. You feel me? Love y'all, man. Let's continue to rise and come together, and let's make this happen. You know what I mean? This is about reclaiming our birthright. You feel me? America, the Americas, that's our motherland, and we're not going to allow anybody to take that from us. You feel me? So we got to come together, we got to stand, we got to unite as American Aborigines, and that's what this is about. All right, peace, one love.
TikTok, this may be one of the most interesting pieces I've ever found on a dump run. If y'all know anything about this, y'all let me know. Them eyes look super duper real. Obviously handcrafted. I don't know much about it, but y'all let me know if y'all know anything. No negative comments, please.
Today, I'd like to share one of the earliest pieces in our collection depicting a person of African descent. This image was created in the 1600s by Johann Jan Visser. Because this image was done before the height of the transatlantic slave trade, the figure is not a mere caricature. The figure is presented as human, with virtue and strength. Incredible.
Connect the lost tribes of Israel with the Bat Creek Stone. Still, this is a mysterious artifact with Hebrew on it. I've looked at others too. They make me wonder, who created them, when, and why? I'm very comfortable that the Bat Creek Stone, all evidence here, to me, indicates that it looks to be a genuine artifact. But there are other artifacts that have been found in North America, pre-Columbian artifacts with
pre-Columbian, which, like we always teach, the Israelites were here first. We founded America a long time ago. Now here is a historian and a professional, one of the top scholars and historian, telling you the same exact thing.
With Hebrew inscriptions on them. I've investigated Ohio's Decalogue Stone. It has a shortened version of the Ten Commandments on it, written in Paleo-Hebrew. Same story in Los Lunas, New Mexico, where there's a similar artifact.
Don't tell me that Negroes is not the Hebrews or the Israelites. Where do you see when Columbus and them got over here, they saw a bunch of Negroes and Hispanics already here. And here is the evidence showing you that we've been here the whole time. And the Northern Kingdom predominantly, and some of Judah and the Southern Kingdom, and then with the transatlantic slave trade, the rest of the Southern Kingdom came over to join their brothers in the slave trade. So this automatically lets you know who the real Hebrews are, because you did not see Jewish people in the Americas pre-Columbus. Body bag.
Also called the Decalogue Stone with the Ten Commandments on it. And in Arizona, more Hebrew on the Tucson lead artifacts, a collection of authentic ritual objects pulled from the desert in 1924. I have to wonder if all these things are markers on a trail left by Hebrew people long ago. There's a person that I'm going to go visit and talk to a little bit more about the Bat Creek Stone and about some other artifacts.
Part of the science of all this is actually having a dialogue and talking to different scholars, different perspectives and expertise.
We've had a good exchange today. But now I want to ask you, Tim, are you convinced by what you've seen here today that the Bat Creek Stone is a genuine pre-Columbian Hebrew artifact?
Pre-Columbian.
I don't really want to cross the line, but I'm kind of really hoping that we do. Low-key, you've been keeping it low, but to keep it real. Low-key, I've been thinking.
Family, look at this. These people been new, man. Anything they come across, man, they call it a mystery. A mystery, man. Look at this, though. The absorption of Negroes, their sporadic representation during the entire pre-Columbian epoch in all regions from Mesoamerica to Peru. An attentive study of Negro portrayals in pre-Columbian art leaves us little doubt about the presence of BLK people in ancient America. This paramount reality is even more surprising as soon as we examine the chronological and geographical extent of a racial phenomenon that was practically ignored in the past by professional investigators and the general public alike. Right? In former chapters, we have seen that this remarkable racial incident can be traced back to the remotest history of America. The remotest history. Now, let's take a look at some of these artifacts that they're talking about. Look at this. Negroid, tona. I don't even know how to say this, right? But take a look at this. You see the hair? You see the bone structure? Let's take a look at another one real quick. Look at this. A highly what styled Negroid head from Costa Rica. It's the terracotta, right? You see that wide nose? This, I'm telling you. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. A terracotta, man. They're not showing you this in your school, huh? Right? Hold on now. And I know that we were still going to have doubters, so I had to pull out one of the big boys. You know what I'm saying? Now you tell me who this is.
This is from British Museum. Why is their portrayal of native Africans and natives of the Americas seem so similar?
It folds. I like to see you wiggle, wiggle, for sure, and make you want to dribble, dribble. You know, right it in my feet.
So
You
leery,
really have
I
to
wonder
see it.
why.
6 feet 2 in a compact. No slack, but luckily the seats go back. I got it now.
A minor theft might have turned into a major religious discovery. A missing artifact was found in the closet of a Tennessee motorhome. Volunteer TV's John Trainer talked with the owner of a rare painting who didn't know what he had. John?
Yeah, and it makes you wonder what you might have in your house. In this case, it was an authentic 19th century painting of the Veil of Veronica. It's like a story ripped from a Hollywood screenplay. A small road in the mountains of Tennessee, a living room in a motorhome, and a 150-year-old painting blessed by Pope Leo XIII. This is the true face of Jesus Christ, one of a handful of paintings based on the cloth used to wipe Jesus' face before his crucifixion, known as the Veil of Veronica. Its owner, a 73-year-old man who didn't want to be identified and had no idea what he had.
I've lived here for about 17 years. It's been in there, either in there or in my bedroom ever since.
So how does a holy relic go from the holy city to Monroe County? Well, the man known as Frosty tells us he got it as a present and hung it on his wall 20 years ago, but 3 years later, it found a home in this cloth bank bag and was thrown in his closet, until police say it was stolen by Kelly Gormley, who tried to sell it to this Madisonville church. Church told the sheriffs made the arrest, and a piece of religious history was uncovered.
You know, at first, obviously, it was a big surprise for us that something like this might even, be in East Tennessee. Normally, you'd expect to find something like this in a museum or maybe in Rome, in the Vatican.
The painting is now under lock and key in a secret location. Gormley is in prison for theft, and Frosty is overwhelmed that a treasure was laying hidden in his home.
You know, I know they really wanted it bad, but I said, nah, I don't think I'll be partnering with it.
Now, the church is now working with Rome to authenticate and appraise the painting. If it is real, it is invaluable to the church.
Burroughs Cave is the name given to an alleged cave site in a disputed location in southern Illinois allegedly discovered by Russell Burroughs. Burroughs says he discovered the cave while hiking along the hillside miles away from the Ohio River, where he later claimed that he was searching for buckles from the Civil War era and pioneer horseshoes with his metal detector. Burroughs says that he came across a hole into which he fell that led him into the mysterious cave full of priceless ancient artifacts. During the time of the discovery, it was thought that the alleged cave must have been located in Richland County somewhere near the town Olney, Illinois, where Burroughs resided at the time. The cave was said to have contained numerous archaeological artifacts, including carvings, coins, and other items. Burroughs claimed that he did not want to give away the location of the cave because he believed that the cave would be robbed of its ancient treasures. Many of the purported artifacts are said to have inscriptions in various ancient languages such as Numidian and Libyc, etc. Burroughs claims that the cave is a tomb holding the artifacts and remains of 13 cribs. Thomas Emerson, the Illinois state archaeologist and former head of the Illinois Historic Preservation Agency, warned that the claims being made by Burroughs Cave proponents were sensational, and not backed by solid evidence. With no evidence of the cave and its existence, many archaeologists quickly dismiss Burroughs and the alleged cave. Please take a look at some of the artifacts Russell Burroughs found.
In today's Hidden History in Plain Sight, we are looking at art, and not just any art. We are looking at the oldest known painting from South America by a colonizer ever, period. It dates back to 1599 and is said to have been commissioned by a colonial official as a gift to the King of Spain and is currently housed in the Museo Nacional de Prado in Madrid, Spain. What's amazing about this image is that it's a portrait of an Inca nobleman and his sons. His name was Don Francisco de Arobe, and his sons were Pedro and Domingo. Now, this is the earliest representation by colonizers of the Incans. And look at how they are depicted. The skin, the hair, the nose. The colonizers accidentally told on themselves because primary sources do not lie.
They just go into a country, plague the whole place out, and then take over their buildings. New York was already there for thousands of years. San Francisco was there for thousands of years. Los Angeles was there for thousands of years. They were built by the indigenous people who were black and Indians as well.
Whoa.
The black people, they are the original owners of America. Black people, African Americans, they were already here and they plagued them out. And they stole the Smithsonian Institute, which is Jesuit controlled, stole their knowledge, stole their history, and now we're just left wondering who we are, where we come from, where we're going. We don't know.
The United States finds ancient Egyptian statues underwater, but this never made the news. Why?
Look at this. This is an ancient Olmec. But what do you see down there? You see the fist? The so-called black power fist? This is how long we've been doing this. Hair. Look what you see. A pick. We pick our hair for the fro. Before we grow locks, we got to pick our hair. Look what you see here. A fro pick. This is how long we've been doing this. So you don't think a lot of Mexican officials know about this? You don't think a lot of Mexican officials seen all of these things? Why they don't release it? Why they don't show it to the world? Why they don't tell the truth? Because they all went to school, and that school called the School of Re-Educating. That's the School of Identity Theft. The School of the Re-Education pretty much destroy all evidence to prove that the people that we all hate today, that's actually their land. They were the one that built civilization. So you don't think they've seen this? This is not in Africa. This is here in Mexico, in America. Matter of fact, it predates everybody that so-called called themselves native today. That shit predates everything, anything they ever had. Now for some of these so-called natives today that's be thumping hard. Show me an ancient artifact of you that predate these artifacts. You couldn't find any. You couldn't. Because they bring you here to replace us. Oh, you don't believe me? What do you think this migrant crisis that's happening in America right now, what do you think this migrant crisis is all about? Do you think they're stupid? They've pressed the reset button. Why? Because American, not any black American waking up. Where do you think these migrants going? They're going straight to the black neighborhood. They ain't going to go to the white neighborhood. They're replacing you because you're getting too smart. That's what they did to us when they came here. They import people from the trans-Pacific slave trade to replace us. That's why they give us a false ideology and false identity. It's all part of the game. Okay? Now someone said they have an Olmec bone find in those pyramids and have indigenous any DNA. But listen, I heard this story for so long.
This is a picture of people that were in Central America before Europeans, before colonization, before transatlantic slave trade. These people, they were already here.
This image is from the 1600s, a European engraving of America. They showed her as a black woman, bow in hand, lion by her side. Before the lies, before the rewrite, we was already here.
1641, Dutch explorers document a ritual dance deep in the Americas. Feathers, paint, power. But look closer. Were these just natives? Or is there more to the story of who was already here? Drop a 100 if you think we was already here. And don't forget to follow Uncle Truth for more content like this. Let truth be thy weapon and stay dangerous.
This statue stands tall in a Virginia museum, said to be Chief Powhatan, father of Pocahontas. But look closer. They say they found this land, but we were already here.
A vast collection of peculiar artifacts that seemed to defy conventional historical understanding. The cave's walls were adorned with intricate carvings and inscriptions, while the floor was strewn with coins, tablets, and sculptures, a treasure trove of ancient relics that seemed entirely out of place in the American Midwest. The Burroughs Cave artifacts encompass a diverse array of objects, many of which display a striking resemblance to the artistic styles and iconography of ancient Mediterranean civilizations. Among the most notable finds are gold and bronze coins inscribed with the portraits of historical figures such as Alexander the Great and Cleopatra, as well as tablets featuring hieroglyphics, Greek lettering, and even Latin inscriptions. Intriguingly, some of these artifacts appear to depict scenes from biblical and classical mythology, while others contain maps and navigational charts that could potentially shed light on ancient maritime exploration. Egyptian, Etruscan, Greek, Scandinavian, Roman, Vedic, and Hebrew etchings and artifacts were all discovered. 5 8-foot-tall anthropomorphic statues stand in the main tunnel passageway. There are carvings which resemble the Egyptian god Anubis. Some are accompanied with hieroglyphics embossed on a gold plate. There are also Mesoamerican-style artifacts that resemble that of the Olmec civilization. Most astonishing is that deep in the caves can be found crypts, where the apparent bodies who left the cache of artifacts are buried.
We know the truth now. This is a statue of an indigenous American, Taino Indian from America. This statue was made by Jean Jules Sampson in the 1800s. He was a French sculptor from the times. Look at her left hand. That is a pineapple. Pineapples are indigenous to America. We know the truth now.
These Egyptian artifacts prove the Israelites are black. Look at this. Here is the terracotta head of a Semite, marked Hebrew, discovered in Memphis of Egypt, which you can now find at the Petrie Museum of Egyptian Archaeology, just in case you're butthurt and you don't believe me. Here's another angle. Oh, and here's another one. Yeah, I don't think I need to say much. Here's a figurine dating all the way back to the 18th dynasty of Egypt, showing what these people want to call a Semitic slave. Here are some different angles. You can find this piece in the Hecht Museum in Haifa, located in that one nation-state that shall not be named, but I assume you can see how similar in complexion and phenotype those first artifacts are to this one made thousands of years earlier. Comment truth if you know the Israelites are black. Why aren't these artifacts talked about more? Discover more truth on IsraeliteBot.com. Link in bio.
Is that an original painting, sir? Oh, yes, nearly everything here is original. That was done in Austria, 1761. The discovery of America. The discovery of America. Is it all in there? Nearly. Isn't that fantastic? Look at that. The discovery of America. I think I'm just going to leave this $10 here on the table, sir. That way it's out of my hands. Oh, relax, relax. Take a minute. Try one of these. Eh? Try a few of them, in fact. All right, sir. Thank you, sir. This looks good, may I, sir?
Memphis, Tennessee. Let's get into it. Ramsey the Great. I know a lot of y'all remember this 25-foot tall statue that was in front of our pyramid before they moved it to the University of Memphis. Okay. Who was Ramsey the Great? Ramsey the Great was a pharaoh. Okay. He ruled in the 19th dynasty. He was also known as the great ancestor. Okay. And Memphis, which y'all all know, was the capital of Egypt, the royal capital of Egypt. Okay. Now, Ramsey built a great temple complex in Memphis, a temple to Ptah, the god, the living God. Okay. Now, one thing that I wanted to touch on, which y'all already knowing, that Memphis was the old capital of Egypt and the spiritual home to Ptah, the god. Okay. One of the three major power centers were here in Memphis. Okay, was in Memphis. All right. Now, Ramsey treated Memphis as his ancestral base. Okay, he spiritually tied his divine kingship to the temple of Ptah, which was his god, the god of creation, and the god who gave kings power. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This statue here looked ancient as hell. It looked real ancient. As a matter of fact, it looked more ancient than that shit over there in that Egypt that's cosplaying as Egypt. Y'all get where I'm going with that. And I'm gonna actually show y'all some stuff, because if y'all realize, a lot of the stuff in America that nods to old Egypt looks more older here than it does over there. A lot of that shit over there looked like it was brand, kind of newly built or whatever, as an exhibit or to cosplay something, right? But just look at this statue. That shit don't look real old to y'all, real ancient, like it's been kept for a real long time. Okay. Now, another thing that I want to call out is this quote unquote replica, since they say the one that's in Memphis is a replica, was the only officially authorized reproduction of this ancient statue in the world. Meaning this is the only one in the world outside of the one they claim over there in Egypt, in Africa. Y'all get where I'm going with that? Or was it already just here anyway? You see what I'm saying? I'm going to make a part 2 to this, and I'm going to do a video. And I want y'all to watch that video, because I'm going to connect a lot of dots from this video. I need for y'all to watch. When you watch, make sure you share it for me. Okay, but I'm gonna show y'all a video and how the pyramid sits on the river, just like the pyramid that they claim out there in Egypt. I got a video, and y'all just pay attention to this video, and then I'm gonna get into underground of the pyramid.
Okay, remember there's a Memphis, Texas, and there's quite a few pyramids that we saw yesterday. in Memphis, Texas. All right. So let me do my thank yous. Dark Skin Brother, thank you again for the 5 memberships that you gifted. We next, aka, thank you for the super sticker, Dark Skin Brother. Elijah, thank you for the 2-month membership. All praises to the Most High. Elijah, again, for the super chat. Thanks, Abba, for family. Okay, scroll down a bit. Dark Skin Brother, thank you for the super chat. I bet they are going to sell those mummies to Europeans. Yeah, because they ate them. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they chopped down on the ones here. So far, I haven't heard anything about it, but they definitely ate the ones up from Egypt. Yeah. Thank you for that super chat and your support for my channel. G. Bowman Jr., thank you for the super chat. The lies of the few have deceived the many. Yeah, amen. You ain't never lie. G. Bowman Jr., thank you again for the super chat. Lies fade away, but the truth lives forever. Yeah, that is the truth. And G. Bowman Jr., thank you again for another super chat. No matter what, my metaphysical bloodlines, no babies equals no future. Amen. You know, I said that before too. Thank you for your support for my channel. Y'all, it is so many artifacts here. They couldn't get rid of all of it if they wanted to. You know, because I was looking at some of the comments and y'all were saying, no, it's 2,500 pyramids. No, actually, it isn't. They blew up most of the pyramids. The ones that you see now are just a few they never got around to blowing up. Most of the pyramids that used to be in the land were blown up. Maybe once upon a time there were 2,500, but there's certainly not that amount now. A lot of them got ground into powder and they got rid of them building highways and businesses on top of where they used to be. That's why you don't see as many. Yeah, it's documented that there were a lot one time, but many of them don't exist anymore. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, in New Jersey, they have been destroying them for years. That's why when you look, you think they're just tearing apart a mountain. No, they're tearing apart a pyramid. That's what they're doing. Oh yeah, they're in every state, Miss Ebiel. They're literally in every single state across the land. So yes, Virginia, Maryland, yeah, they got pyramids. That is the truth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. You know, there is something about 3-Eye Atlas where they don't want us to see that thing coming. That's why I said I'm determined to get a glimpse at it, you know, because, you know, I remember seeing the only comet I ever seen in my lifetime, y'all, was Halley's. I did not see Hale-Bopp. I know a couple of people said they saw it in the sky. I never saw that one in the sky. But I was driving home from work back in the 90s, and I remember looking up and I actually saw Halley's comet. And you could see it was streaking across the sky, and you could see the tail on it and everything. And I just happened to be driving home and I looked up and it was right there. That is the only comet I have ever seen in my lifetime. And I believe that's gone now. I think when the last time it came back through the solar system, I think when it hit the sun, it finally broke apart because I don't think that comet is in existence anymore. I think it broke apart passing the sun. Mhm. Yeah, so y'all, there are so many things about this land that is screaming our entire history and legacy in the land. And, you know, that Illinois underground cave just blew me away, all the carvings on the wall and everything. I'm like, wow, that's like almost like a whole underground city down there. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it is incredible. It's incredible work that our people did even back in those times, and it just shows how they were way more advanced than these people that are running things now. These folks ain't advanced. That's why they got to run around telling you they got a high IQ because they're not advanced people at all. Yeah. You know, I all I got to say is, y'all, you know, we are definitely in the final days because we are finding out and seeing so many things we did not see before. And that right there is telling you, um, number one, we're learning more about who we are, and we're looking at the evidence of our ancestors that were once here and dominating in the land. So I am going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for coming, and be on the lookout tomorrow. I do have several ideas for upcoming live streams for tomorrow. So I hope to see you all then. Please enjoy the rest of your night. And those of you that donated, even through PayPal and Cash App, as well as here on YouTube, thank you for your support. I deeply appreciate it. Shalom, family.